it can be exhausting, all the things that goes into growing, which is why a lot of you, like I was in the past, would just throw the video up there and just forget about it. If it got watched, it got watched. If it didn't, it didn't. 13,000 subscribers. That's what I woke up to this morning, and I am so stoked. And if you are an expert who understands that you should be paying attention to YouTube and attempting to grow there, this show is for you.
You are watching Influence Media, PSI TV, the Netflix of biz brands.
Now, if you're ahead of me in your account, fantastic. Maybe you should consider sharing some of your nuggets of wisdom in the comments below. But if you have accomplished that without using any kind of YouTube coaching, then maybe you will still find value in this post, because I have paid for YouTube coaches plural, and I'm under study of a current YouTube coach, and both of my coaches have exceeded 1 million subscribers. So what I'm going to share with you is a distillation of what I've learned from the both set of coaches, and some of the things that I've learned on my own as I have researched the things I need to do to grow on YouTube. Now, I call this my T10 strategies, because there are 10 tactics. Okay, there are 10 tactics, but I call it the T10 strategies. And I'll admit there's one listed there that I'm about to start utilizing, but I am only in information stage on that one. So let me share those with you. So here are my T10 tactics for growing on YouTube, for growing influence on YouTube. These are not necessarily in any particular order, but I have kind of put them in an order that makes sense to me as I think about how I approach creating my videos. The first thing that really matters to me, and this is my number one in sequence, is the takeaway. What is the takeaway that I want my audience to leave with if they get nothing else? Now, my takeaway for this particular video is that maybe you should consider growing on YouTube, and it may seem overwhelming, but it really isn't. It doesn't have to be. And that is my takeaway that I want you to really walk away with, is that I really want you, the expert, the business owner, to value the idea of growing your digital presence, especially on YouTube. So I do start with the takeaway that I want my audience to have, because that takeaway really is the driving force for pretty much everything else in the T10 tactics. Number two is the theme. The theme will come out of the takeaway. The theme is going to be the overarching storyline or concepts that need to be included in the video so that you leave with a takeaway. Then there is a temptation, or more commonly known as the call to action. The call to action is so important. Don't assume that your viewers know what they should do next. It might be that you ask them to subscribe. It might be that you ask them to click a link in the description, but you want to include a call to action. And very often the call to action is linked to the takeaway. The video title. Now, if you've watched anything about building on YouTube, you know that the title of your video is one of the premium things you need to focus on. However, how are you going to create a title if you haven't considered your takeaway and your theme? So the title is important, but to me, it comes after considering the takeaway, at least the takeaway. Now, there are strategies for creating titles. This is not the video for that, but the title is so important that it warrants watching videos or looking up other strategies specifically for building out titles for videos. I hope I did a decent job with the title for this video. And if you're watching it, you probably clicked maybe because of the title or something else. The something else may be the thumbnail. The thumbnail is also one of the top things that you'll hear all YouTubers talk about as a premium idea for growing on YouTube. Now, the thumbnail for me comes as number 5 because after considering the takeaway and creating the title and the theme, then I can figure out how I'm going to build out the thumbnail, because there are things that I want to pop, or there are things that I want to break the scroll. So it's going to be a visual hook, whereas the title may be a text hook. And so you have your text hook and your thumbnail, which would be a visual hook to draw the audience in and earn the click and earn the watch. Now, the talent is something that you may need to consider. A lot of my videos are talking heads, kind of like this. It's usually just me. My television shows, for example, will have myself and my guest. So that will be the additional talent. Some of you may have other guests or other talent in your show, especially if you have a music video or something like that. Now, this tactic is the one that I'm going to admit that while I'm aware of, I have not actively practiced. I will include a video in the description here where YouTube has released this feature where, having created your video, you can test more than one thumbnail. And that way, YouTube will rotate the thumbnails for you and create the analytics so you can see which of your thumbnails is doing better and use that as your final thumbnail. I will admit that is not a feature that I am taking advantage of. It's one of the newer features, and while I'm aware of it, and it's on my to-do list, I've not actually implemented this. So this is all I'm going to say on that. And like I said, I will link a video in the description so you can check this feature out for yourself. But it is a tactic worthy of acknowledgement, and for me in the future for trying. Now, video templates. Some of you are using templates, some of you are not. Some of you are using templates not realizing you're using templates. Now, for me, I had a template that I was using for a while, and then I've been playing with different template styles. So when I say a template, sometimes a template may be an actual how the video looks. So, for example, pick, play, post has a way that you can have these borders, and it will have a video down here, text, and so forth. So that may be the template in use. It may be you're using a template off of Canva. But for me, the template also includes the layout of the show. So, and I reuse that layout all the time. So that layout has become a template. So in the past, I would have the introduction, which would be a verbal hook, and then I would talk about a Bible story, and then I would lead into research, academic research, and then I would build out the rest of the show. So that was a template that I was using over and over again. I haven't used it recently, but that's just to give you an example that the template could be visual, or the template could be the layout of how you're doing the show, so you keep some kind of consistency with your channel. Now, one thing that has been relatively consistent with my channel are my thumbnails. If you look through my channel, especially the ones where I have guests, the thumbnails have a consistency to them, and that is considered a template. The trailer, I've been using this a little bit more recently. It's not something I've been using a lot, but I find that it helps. Now, the trailer is, and we watch trailers all the time. If you're going to watch a new movie that's been advertised, they will create a trailer which will have some high points, of which is geared to draw you in and get you excited about watching that upcoming movie. Now, for me, my trailers are sometimes created after the fact. So if I make a video before I release the video to the public, I use an AI tool that will slice my video into shorts. And I'm using the short, one or two of the shorts as a trailer to build excitement for people to watch the show, which may be coming up later in the day or later in the week. Sometimes I will create the trailer ahead of the show, and it's independent of the show. And that is still something that is a newer thing that I'm working with. So I'm just going to say that and let you figure out how you're going to do your trailer. But it is a good idea to give a teaser last but not least. And this is probably something a lot of you are not doing, but it is so important for growing on YouTube. In fact, growing anywhere, which is tracking the analytics, seeing which video is doing better than the other, and sometimes doubling down on that topic or that concept. So my tracking has been less about the concepts that I'm building out so far and more about where my audience is coming from, and so you can focus in on different aspects of the analytics. But I am beginning to see some topics that I talk about get more traction than others. And guys, I'm telling you, it can be exhausting, all the things that goes into growing, which is why a lot of you, like I was in the past, would just throw the video up there and just forget about it. If it got watched, it got watched. If it didn't, it didn't. But let me tell you, I'm strongly encouraging you to pay attention to YouTube, even if you are Instagram famous or Facebook famous. I'm not trying to grow on Facebook that much anymore. The vibe on Facebook is changing a little bit for me, but the point is that I've really doubled down on YouTube because not only is it a vibrant social media platform, but it is searchable by the search engines. And so it is drawing in more leads for me. When I see my opt-in forms and where the prospect is coming from, a lot of them are coming from the links that I'm putting in my YouTube. So I'm getting new audience to my offers, to my mail list because of YouTube. So I'm just putting that out there because if you are focusing on a social media platform like Instagram or Facebook, another thing you'll probably realize is that you put that post and 3 or 4 posts later, it's dropped down into oblivion. And worse, if the first 100 people in your community have not loved on that post, then the platforms are not as willing to share it broader. So a lot of times the efforts we're making on these social media platforms get lost and buried into oblivion, and they're not findable by search engines. So that effort is not becoming evergreen and shareable beyond that platform, which is where YouTube really is king. And that's why YouTube has gotten a lot of my attention. YouTube is supplementing and supporting all the other platforms that I am engaging on. And it has been an amazing platform. So I'm going to encourage you not only to build on YouTube, that's my takeaway, build on YouTube, but there are these 10 tactics, my T10 tactics, that you could consider as you work to grow your channel as well. Trudy Beerman here. I do have an offer for you, and that is my call to action. Apart from the takeaway, if you are interested in growing your personal brand, your digital omnipresence, growing that like I'm getting from my people. Oh, I see Trudy everywhere. Oh, I see Trudy everywhere. That has been strategic. And that is what our program, our Reachology Premium Influence Boost System will do. Part of which our YouTube strategies are part of the resources available in that program. That allows you to work one-on-one with me, and part of the extended group, you get to network with the others as well. Trudy Beerman here. I am super simple to find, and I do look forward to connecting and working with you.